Okay, wa means and. Nisa. Okay, that is the nifal perfect. Now he's switching tenses. This is what's so important about this verse. He's switching tenses to the nifal perfect of nasa. Nasa is a key verb that Isaiah is going to use in chapter 53, so he's introducing it right away, typical Hebrew rhetorical style. Nasa is going to be the verb that carries the passage. And so that's what nasa means, to lift, carry, or take. And it's a primary verb in the Old Testament for lifting and carrying off and taking off of sins. So, I mean, immediately, Christians among us who remember the New Testament, Christ would be lifted up. The Old Testament where Moses talked about the snake, where the snake was put on a cross and lifted up. And when Israel, who was suffering from the snake venom bites that were sent to them when they rebelled in the wilderness, they would look up and that would heal them from the snake venom. Okay, so Isaiah writing, not quite 1,000 years later, is playing on that. So that's why he's using one nisa, the end beginning, okay, to nasa, one nisa, actually, that's what makes it the nifal. Perfect. So notice how he's going from yaskil, which is the hifil is causative. He's going from the hifil imperfect of sakel, which is yaskil, to the kal imperfect yarum. All right. Then he switches to the nifal perfect. Okay, nifal is the passive voice, or sometimes it's reflexive, where somebody's doing the thing to you. Okay, so you would be translating nasa here, which is nisa in the nifal perfect. He will be carried up. So you see the funkiness of it. It's yarum. Okay, he rises up. God takes on humanity, rises up, and then the humanity is carried up. All right, lifted, carried, taken up for our sins, that you'll see later in the chapter. And that's the nifal perfect. I'm probably not saying this right. I'm so excited about this, because you just cannot translate the chained tenses into English to show how it's talking about God-man. There's no way to translate that. You just have to explain it from directly from the Hebrew, like I'm trying to do here and probably doing badly. Okay, so then the next verb is wa, of course, is and again, and you've got gaveh. Okay, gaveh means to be high and exalted. You see how he's playing on highness, the Most High God? I don't know if you're getting it. I don't know. You got yarum, which is high. Nisa, lifted up on high. That's the humanity, what's going to be done to his humanity. And then gaveh is the result, being high, exalted. So the Most High, all right, becomes a slave son. Paul plays on this in Philippians 2, 7 through 10. So the Most High becomes a slave son, so it's coming down. And then Yah lifts him up. Yah, he raises up because he's God. Okay? And then he's raised up in his humanity too. So he's exalted Most High in both his godness already and his humanity as a result of being one Nisa, raised up, lifted onto the cross. Now, how are you going to translate all that meaning into English? You can't. But it's there in the Hebrew, in the wordplay, in the tense switches, because gaveh is in the kal perfect. Remember, kal is the tense of reality. All right, and it's in the perfect, which contemplates the future action of his resurrection, okay, as being completed. So it's gaveh, okay? Gaveh me'od. So here's the whole me'od, though I forgot to tell you what that means. Me'od, when the D doesn't have a dagesh in it, you have to say it like DTH, so it's me'od. Me'od means vehemently, exceedingly, not forcefully like against your will, but strongest possible, vehemently is really the best way to put it. In fact, Theological Workbook of the Old Testament talks about it that way. There's strength and vehemence. Vehemence is really the best way to translate it, I would think. So that's how what you end up getting out of ma'od. So chine yaskil avdi yarum wanisa wagavech ma'od. Okay, now we'll go through each one of them. Chine, look, yaskil, by mastery of knowledge he will prosper. Who's he? Avdi, my slave son. Yarum will rise up. Okay? Wanisa, and will be lifted up, carried up, taken up. Wagavech, and will be made high, exalted, and will be high, exalted. It's not passive there. It's the Cal perfect of gavech. Gavech. And ma'od, vehemently. Okay? I'm so excited about this I can't breathe.